when you look at Asia, China, ASEAN, India, Japan, Korea, what keeps you busier? And what keeps you busiest among all these various blocks of our Asian relationship?
For me, I'll give you my most honest answer if I can. Everyone has a passion in their life, right? Everyone has something that they're passionate about. For me, when I first had the opportunity to work on Asia in the early 1990s, it was as if I had discovered something rare and wonderful. And I had grown bored with European politics. I wasn't as interested in what I was working on any longer. And this was like a whole world had opened up to me in a way that I can't even begin to describe. This particular job, my bureau, the East Asia Bureau, has just a very illustrious history. It's over 100 years old now. I think the key to being successful in this job is not to play favorites, is to be deeply engaged on every aspect of the job. And so I try to be as interested, as determined, as innovative when I go to Beijing or Bali or a small Pacific island state.
I don't believe it, because
I think it is.
You're a human being. You have to have your passion. You have to have your own bias, your own likes and dislikes. You like Thai food more than Japanese food, maybe, or maybe enjoy Chinese food more than others.
No, that is the truth. We have dialogue with India about Asia. I love that. This summer, I took a delegation. We went to, 8 Pacific Island nations, many of whom no American delegation has been to ever, decades. Deeply powerful, moving experience. The chance to come to Thailand to meet a new government. No, I can honestly tell you, I find every aspect of my job thrilling, interesting, exciting, and I love working on Asia. So I'm sorry, there is cuisine. There is cuisine I like best. But that doesn't mean I don't like all of Asia. I would put Thai and Japanese food near the top of the heap.
If your new emphasis on Asia works as you would like to see, 5 years from now, what would be the scenario for Asia? If you succeed in what you want to do.
It's a great question. These are excellent questions, by the way. Very thought-provoking. Deeper institutions, much more consequential efforts at multilateral diplomacy. I'd like to see an ASEAN secretariat that truly has roots with larger number of diplomats working together, not unlike some of the institutions that we see in Europe. And I recognize that it's not appropriate to compare Europe with Asia, but I think that would be very important. I'd like to see a set of circumstances where the United States and China have found ways to work together constructively and mitigate some of the more dangerous aspects of our competition and ensuring that we don't see military mishaps. I'd like to see, probably most importantly, recognition on the part of Asian friends that all the commentary about our economy and the challenges that the United States faced, that period is over and that we had fully recovered and we're playing a vibrant, strong role economically and commercially due to our free trade agreements and the path-breaking Trans-Pacific Partnership, and vibrant bilateral security ties with our key friends and allies, Japan, South Korea, Thailand, Philippines, and Australia. And probably lastly, I'd love to see a more vibrant role for India in the Asia-Pacific region, not only institutionally, but in terms of all aspects of trade, security ties. And an overarching peace and stability that reigns, that creates enormous opportunities and allows Northeast Asia, Asia as a whole, to play its role as the cockpit of the global economy.
And what would be the main obstacles preventing you from achieving that? What would be the main problems that would
Thank you.
say, no, you can't do it?
Well, I mean, I think one has to continue to be concerned about developments in North Korea. They're a clear outlier in almost every aspect of the progress in the Asian Pacific region. I worry that the global economy must overcome its current difficulties to allow Asia to play its necessary role, and the global economy experiences the necessary rebalancing. I am concerned about the security implications of climate change. I am concerned about the increasing ferocity of weather events and what that means. And there are a whole host of issues associated with that: agriculture, issues of sustainability of food supplies and the like. So there are any number of things that could happen in Asia that could unsettle the enormous progress that we have seen. And like every place else, sometimes it's the things that you least expect, that you do not anticipate, that are most worrisome. I am confident, though, that the United States has the wherewithal and the wit to remain a strong, active, engaged participant in the Asian Pacific region. And I believe that that engagement gives us the greatest amount of confidence about how events will unfurl.
Last question. Is there a hotline between Beijing and Washington?
Yes, there is.
Well, how does it work? Is it a real red telephone?
It's, you know, it's always disappointing because it's never what you think it would be like.
Magic, right?
It's just a phone. It's just a communication
There's a real
system.
phone.
I think there is a line,
Yeah.
and it's been used on a couple of occasions. But I will tell you a little secret here, that during what we called the EP3 crisis, in which accidentally our plane collided with a fighter, a tragedy, near tragedy.
Yeah.
In the immediate aftermath, we tried on numerous occasions to call, and it just rang and rang and rang and rang.
Yeah.
The key for the United States and China is to recognize the potential for things getting out of hand,
Yes.
and to establish the procedures and the mechanism that give us greater confidence in how to deal with issues should problems arrive. I think communications, like a hotline, like the ability to meet and discuss issues on an urgent basis, are of critical importance. And one of the things that I have valued over the course of the last couple of years is developing much closer relationships with my interlocutors. So I would say that tomorrow, when I meet with Vice Foreign Minister Sui Tian-kai,
Yes.
he's not just a fine diplomat, he is my friend. And I enjoy working with him, and I find him to be an absolutely consummate professional that represents the interests of his nation. And our goal is to find those areas where our two interests overlap and find the best way to work together going forward.
And to avoid having to call each other on the hotline.
Yeah, we don't have hotlines, but he does pick up his cell phone, and I do mine as well.
Okay.
Asia is a continent that the United States cannot ignore because it will certainly help shape the 21st century. How the policies of the United States will play out in this region is something that we all need to monitor closely. See you next week. สวัสดีค่ะ